Hello and welcome to Channels Book Club. My name is Olakunle Kasumo and it's great to be on the show this new year, 2022. Great days ahead, hopefully. Last week we showed you, well, it was a repeat of our top 20 books for 2021. I hope you have that list with you and it can be your reading list for 2022. Well, if you don't want to use that list, you can develop your own list for 2022. What is important is to have a reading list for 2022 or a reading plan for 2022. You can decide to do a book a month. If you do a book a month, then by the end of 2022, you will have done 12 books. Imagine the kind of values and knowledge and, all sorts of things that can add to your life. And if you do 2 books a month, then at the end of 2022, you would have done 24 books. Well, if you've never been reading before, you don't have to do a book a month. You could do a book in 2 months. At the end of 2022, you would have done 6 books. It's a good start if you've never been reading before. So do something, have a plan for 2022, and at the end of the year, you'll be very glad that you did. Reading is very powerful. You can learn from reading, you can acquire knowledge from reading, you can be entertained through reading, all manner of things. Well, let me not go on and on and on with that. Now, this is 2022 and we've got a lot lined up for us for this year. First of all is a young man who is very fascinating. He's a gifted poet. He's simply called IB. He's our first guest on the show this week. IB is a social conscious poet and he focuses on influencing and changing society through his poetry. He sees poetry as a powerful tool to redefine society. His yet to be released album, Music Has Failed Us, has already gotten accepted by the Grammys, and a nomination is being considered by the Recording Academy. He has performed poetry to audiences in South Africa, UK, India, United States, and more. IB has worked with different brands and individuals, and he's highly sought after. He also writes, and he is a brand strategist. IB joined us at our studio, and we had a great conversation with him. Enjoy this.
Everything I own, I carry through words. They breathe on the flesh of my tongue like a prophecy, ever fulfilling, never misses like a nun. They say I am larger than life, for I am constantly choosing things the world can't take from me. Things that outlive breath, things that stretches between worlds, things engraved in eternity, things that touches but I can't seem to hold. Only feel like self-love, groundbreaking things sprouting from invisible roots, like warmth, things that manifest through peace, like sleep, like a gorgeous smile glowing through the eyes. Everything I owned from nothing, and nothing are these words growing into poems, into pages, into life. A reminder that the world can't touch my invincibility.
IB, it's great to have you on Channels Book Club.
I'm very glad to be here as well.
Great to have you here. Yeah. You are a poet.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm coming to poetry. Okay. I'm coming back to poetry. I'm just curious.
Okay.
Writers and poets and, usually have another life outside. When you're not into poetry, into your creative works, what are you into? What do you do outside the world?
Okay, am I supposed to say I'm a writer? Am I permitted to say I'm a writer?
Sure.
I'm also a brand strategist and a photographer.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Everything aligns. Exactly. Creativity.
Exactly.
Okay, but let's come back to, I know you as a poet, and a lot of people know you as a poet. What's the story? What's your story? When did that start for you?
When I've been writing since I was 8, 9. So yeah, I've been writing stories, but poetry professionally started in 08, 09.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's quite a while. That's about 12 years now, or 11.
Yes. So
It's
09.
Let's say it's 09. That will be how many years? That will be 12 years.
12 years. Yeah.
Okay. So what inspired you? What led you into poetry?
Okay, performing poetry actually. So what led me into performing poetry? Because majorly that's what I'm known for right now. So I saw my friend performing. He's now my friend, performing poetry on stage. I was like, wow, this is beautiful. His name, by the way, is Philip Asaya.
Okay.
And I can call him my friend now, but he's like my egbo.
Okay.
Do you understand? So
Okay.
yeah, so I got hooked up to him and said, okay, I do this thing too, but I didn't know it's called spoken word poetry. That was in my 100 level in the University of Benin. Then from 200 level, we had already created this grand idea called mannequin mode.
Mannequin mode.
Yes, where we now started performing, doing poetry concerts and traveling all over Nigeria.
Wow.
so yeah.
So you and him created that
along with some, we have a team.
A team.
Actually, yeah.
And it's still ongoing.
Sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the difference between the traditional poet and the performing poets?
As a spoken word poet, I just believe.
Okay, there is spoken word poet.
Yes, which is the performance poet. There's page poetry, which is just poetry.
Writing poetry on paper and all that. Okay, so spoken word poet and page poet, what's the difference?
Well, spoken word is the performance.
You speak it and perform it.
Yeah.
I'm just asking this for the sake of, a lot of people are out there and they're wondering, they really want to understand, the difference.
Yeah.
So there is the poet who just writes his poems and publishes them. And there is the poet who performs,
records them,
performs them.
Yeah.
And spoken word poetry is getting more popular now, and some performers have elevated the status of spoken. I mean, it's really entertaining at times when they come out to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for you, it's about spoken word poetry.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, you write your poems yourself.
Exactly.
I mean, this is Channel's book club, so we always tend more towards the written word.
Yeah.
So you write your poems. How do you? Where do you find inspiration for the poems you write, and what type of poems do you write?
Okay, I like to identify myself. I don't like boxes, but if I'm pushed, I like to call myself a socially conscious poet. Socially conscious. But then my poems inspired basically by life, society, everything I see or I think about.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically.
So you like to look at society, and then you get inspired and you write something that addresses an issue in society.
Exactly.
Okay, and most of your poems are along that line. Okay, so which issues in society particularly intrigue you the most? If you were to categorize most of your poems, which issue would win that?
That's really tough. That's a really tough question, but I'm going to say patriarchy, politics.
Patriarchy.
Politics, feminism, motherhood, fatherhood.
Are you a feminist?
I'd like to think I am. I mean, but for equal rights, though.
For equal rights, okay. So most of it. Oh, fantastic. Well, now, is there any spoken word poets who has inspired you the most, apart from Philip?
Yeah, apart from Philip.
You're very early days,
yeah, apart from Philip, is there JIV? Okay, JIV is he sits on the board of the Recording Academy. He has a song with Kanye West and Jay-Z. Was the first person I listened to as a poet, and I was like, wow, this is beautiful. So I followed him throughout that period. So I think that he also inspires me when it comes to poetry. Sully Briggs, names are flying out
They're
of
flying
my
out of your
head.
head.
But yeah, those people. Ife Paul Azino, obviously.
If Paul Azino, I mean, that's
Azino.
my own star.
Yeah, and
Spoken word.
my friends as well. My friends as poets really inspired me. Toby Abiodun, Paul Word. They're my friends. They're my peers, but I'm also really inspired by them.
By them.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of people do not, and you should correct me if I am wrong.
Sure.
You know, a lot of people do not really value poetry as much as poetry should be valued in our society.
Yeah.
Is that a right observation, or is it a wrong one? What have you observed?
It's right. It's actually right, but I think it's also gaining prominence now.
Okay.
You're right. Your assertion is right, but the value being placed on it is getting higher and higher by the day, so to speak. So I think we are on the right track right now.
Track. Yeah. So what is the reason behind that lack of value for poetry in our society?
I think there are a lot of factors, but I think what the reading culture for me would be a great pointer. Yeah, we unfortunately we don't read a lot in our society.
Okay.
Right. 1, 2. I feel, and when you don't read, it also takes your attention away from the right things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, I feel like the mind and the fact that we don't read, our mind is, would I say distorted?
You want to be respectful.
Yeah.
You want to be respectful.
Yeah, but our minds are in a
maybe we are too distracted.
Exactly.
We are trying to survive, and so our value for the arts is a bit it's not as it should be. Yeah. Okay. Now you were recently was it nominated or accepted for nomination by the
Recording Academy.
Academy. Yeah. That's a big one for you.
It's actually
well done.
For Nigeria, actually.
Yeah.
for Nigeria, because as of date, I think I'm the only Nigerian poet that his album got accepted. So
your album got accepted for nomination.
Exactly. So what an acceptance means is that, okay, you've created your album, it has been listened to by the Recording Academy, and it's up for a possible nomination at the next Grammys.
Wow. Yeah, wow. So what's the title of the your production?
That's Music Has Failed Us.
Okay. So is it one track that caught the attention, or is it it's
a 7-track album.
7-track album.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. Is there one you would like to perform for us? Whether one of the 7 or any of your works outside of the 7.
Okay, let me just do the first track of the first from the album. The first track from the album. Okay. Yeah, because it's like, it's.
I know I'm catching you off guard a bit.
No, you are not actually. It's what's it called? It's like my introduction.
Okay.
Yeah. So, everything I own, I carry through words. They breathe on the flesh of my tongue like a prophecy, ever fulfilling, never misses. Like a nun, they say I am larger than life, for I am constantly choosing things the world can't take from me, things that outlive breath, things stretching between words, things engraved in eternity, things that touch but I can't seem to hold, only feel, like self-love, things that manifest through peace, like sleep, like a gorgeous smile glowing through the eyes. Everything I own, I owned from nothing. And nothing are these words growing into poems, into pages, into life. A proof that the world can touch my invincibility.
You don't know how much I hold you guys in. I can't do what you just did now, or can I?
I don't know.
You're not sure yet. Until I'm tested and proven. Because I mean, it's art.
Yeah.
The way you weave words together, the way there's a lot of deep thinking into what you've just produced right now. A lot of artistry and logic, put together to do that. And your memory is also very sharp, because I'm not sure. I mean, it takes me a long time to cram, to memorize long lines. I don't know. So when I see people who are able to, and you just did a short one, I'm sure you can do one that is 5 minutes long or so.
I have a poem on my album. It's like 8 minutes long, and it took me like 4 years to write.
Wow.
So it was research upon research upon research. So I started the poem while I was in in the university, and I finished after my NYC.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So it's amazing. Well done.
Yeah,
it's amazing, and that's a very good one.
Thank you so
just
much.
Perform now.
Yep.
So are you planning to put all this together in a book and publish?
Okay. The truth is, I was supposed to write my book this year, but I got contacted by a member of the Recording Academy to release my album and to submit for the Grammys. So that project actually took me a while to produce, and also hopefully next year you see some of these works in my book.
Fantastic. Well done, Ivy. It's great to have you on Channels Book Club.
It's great to be here as well.
Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.